Over the years, we've heard plenty of comedians complaining about how PC culture is ruining comedy and you can't be funny anymore despite all of the comedy out there being very funny. But there are some who don't agree. And I want to start with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, obviously, of Seinfeld and Veep and movies and all that. She had this to say: "My feeling about all of it is that political correctness, insofar as it equates to tolerance, is obviously fantastic. And of course, I reserve the right to boo anyone who says anything that offends me while also respecting their right to free speech. When I hear people starting to complain about political correctness, and I understand why people might push back on it, but to me, that's a red flag, because it sometimes means something else. I believe being aware of certain sensitivities is not a bad thing. I don't know how else to say it." And I like that and I appreciate that. And I'm sure it's probably difficult to have that take, considering that Jerry Seinfeld is one of those who over the years has, not as aggressively as like a Dave Chappelle or whatever, but like, or others, on every one of whom has a special name triggered, has done. But still, you're pushing back against a friend of yours. Anyway, as to whether comedy is better or worse now that there's a potential for backlash, which there was always a potential for backlash. People opposing what you say is not an invention of the aughts. But anyway, she says, "I can't judge if it's better or not. I just know that the lens through which we create art today, and I'm not going to just specify it to comedy, it's also drama, it's a different lens. It really is. Even classically wonderful, indisputably great films from the past are riddled with attitudes that today would not be acceptable. So I think it's just good to be vigilant." And we'll move on to others, but I think that that's a very fair take. What do you think, Francesca? You're the comedian.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the adult, right? And the adult happens to be an incredibly successful and hilarious comedian, right? And she's just saying, look, times change, things change, and it's on you to write better, to do something different, to do something new, and to like be aware. Don't be so far up your own butt that you're not aware that, yeah, it's not as fun to just blanket make fun of gay people or blanket make fun of women or just go after some other minority group, because there's broader understanding. We've humanized more people, and isn't that good? Those people could actually be in your audience. In fact, a lot of them are. I mean, I think none of this is particularly catty. None of it's calling Seinfeld out. Although I will say some of it is like, look, if I think something's offensive, I should be able to boo it. Seinfeld's been booed in his very own show, specifically about his support for, the genocide in Gaza. He went to Israel and like posed with a soldier with a tank and had a massive AR-15 or some automatic weapon on him. I mean, It was pretty disgusting. So, I mean, she's also sort of maybe low key defending the right for people to like scream out and say, hey, I don't like this, boo.
Yeah, and look, that's her take. I'm just saying, my quick take is my big issue with this argument is that it implies something that it doesn't mean. It implies we're all too sensitive about everything. Everybody needs to just let people say what they want, get off our back. That is not what it means. That's not what it's ever meant. But that's what they want you to think it means, because that seems defensible. Everybody's too sensitive these days. It's not what it means. It means if I say something homophobic, if I say something misogynistic, if I say something Islamophobic, don't criticize me. That's all it means. Right wingers can make fun of hippies or commies or whatever. That's not a part of it. Like if you have an issue, like it's a one-sided thing of directional control over the message. And by the way, if the right seriously believe that we should stop being so politically correct, why are we tomorrow on the show gonna be talking about how they're boycotting Kohl's or Bud Lighting it because they don't wanna sponsor the RNC?
Honestly.
Why are you freaking out about Disney because they have a 1-second same-sex kiss? If you're so easygoing about art and everything, because what they did, having that kiss, is politically incorrect. It is. This seems weird to say that because again, it's a construct that has a direction to it. But again, it's the fundamental lie that has always bothered me.
Yeah, absolutely. And beyond that, I mean, as a comic, you can't force people to laugh at your jokes, period. And you'll find an audience for your racist, sexist, homophobic stuff or your old stuff. If you literally just want to do your old material time and time again, you'll still find an audience. It might be smaller, they might be dying off, but they're still there for you, my millionaire friend. Like, you're totally fine. You cannot, it is the height of privilege and whininess. Like, and again, I want everyone to consider like who 9 times out of 10 is doing some of this, like, you can't say anything anymore as comics. Women, female comics just don't do this. And if any woman went and was like, you can't say anything more, why aren't you laughing at my jokes? People would call her an entitled bitch, right? They would have no problem calling her an entitled bitch. But like, women just don't do this generally. Even Roseanne knows that like, I have my audience now, it's just different, it's just MAGA. Like, just own that your audience is farther to the right. They're still there. We see them every day.
And by the way, like I've said for a long time, I see people talking about in the chat. I've watched the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte. It's being review bombed online. Reviewers like it. I watched it, it's good. I'm looking at the Metacritic reviews. There's a lot of talk about woke. What exactly is woke in terms of the politics? Literally nothing. But you know what the show has? It has women who star in it, it has people of color who star in it. And instantly they hate it. You're gonna tell me that like criticizing a homophobic or transphobic joke is doing a cancel culture, okay? But people who say, not you can't say a certain thing, you can't be a certain thing. If you cast black or brown people, if you cast a woman, it is woke and it must be canceled, is 1,000 times worse than even the caricature of PC culture that they say about comedy or whatever. And it's every single project without fail. If you cast a person from one of those groups, it will be done because they want you to focus on the PC stuff while they are literally perpetrating segregation in art. Okay, it's not about the message, it's not about the politics, it's about the identity of the people. And there are 1 or 2 okay identities. I look like a lot of them actually, minus the purple hair right now. And that's it. Damn it, I wanna move on to. Okay, we're gonna move on. Michael Richards was actually okay on this topic, which was a little bit surprising.
The guy who literally said the N-word in a comedy club.
We have time, play the Michael Richards clip. No, I wanna hear the Michael Richards clip.
We heard Jerry a couple weeks ago say that, I guess, political correctness is killing comedy. Is it?
Oh, I don't know. People are just being more sensitive about what we're saying about each other, which I think is a good thing. And comedy's coming out of it. In a sense, isn't it?
It sure is.
The way the comics now begin to play with political correctness. The ha-ha is archetypal. It's everywhere. It's still going to be with us, and it's alive. It's alive.
And that's Michael Richards, and he was on Fox, by the way. He knows what Jesse Waters wants him to say. He knows he would get cheered by the Fox audience if he said that they were killing comedy, but he's like, no, it's like people are sensitive and that's not too bad. I mean, I'm sure he's probably a little bit sensitive about it, but he accepts that times change. They're supposed to. We're not supposed to be stagnant.
And he just said you can even make fun of PC culture, as so many do. Look at Ricky Gervais, look at, PC culture. Like, if you like that, you can get a Netflix special talking about that. The haha is gonna come from somewhere. Again, this is a man who literally said the N-word in a comedy club, was recorded for it, then apologized for it, also sort of made fun of himself on Curb Your Enthusiasm around it. Like Michael Richards, if Michael Richards has more of a tolerance around this and is like chiller about it. Jerry, what are you doing, bro?
I know. Now I wanna hear from George. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?